Welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 40. I'm your host, Eric. My main man, Ron. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing great, man. What a fun time to be a Patriot fan.
I'll tell you, every week we go into the show and there's never a disappointment in material.
Absolutely.
We'll just say
always
that.
Always something to cover. So we'll start off with our leadoff story. And that would happen to be the Patriots winning their fifth straight game by shutting out the Atlanta Falcons last night, 25-0 in Atlanta. What were some of your keys to the game?
That defense is for real. So Tony Maz, I'm sorry to tell you, you were absolutely wrong about the Patriots defense. So, this defense has just been pretty much awesome the whole season long. I mean, yes, they've had some moments where they've given up more than their fair share.
They really looked bad was Dallas. They didn't look good against Dallas.
Right.
Against Tampa, they held their own consistently throughout the rest of the season. Obviously, with some of the bad teams, they definitely look really good. But yesterday, 4 sacks, 4 interceptions from that defense. You pitch a shutout. Everybody contributed. So you looked at from the linebacking core with, you saw Hightower making some plays. Van Noy had a great game. So, just a couple of different things there. And then obviously the secondary really looked good again. J.C. Jackson, what I keep telling you, it's getting me nervous. They're going to have to pay this guy, man, because he's making plays every single week now.
Yeah, they are. But everybody is. Kyle Van Noy, he's playing out of his mind at this point. It's incredible.
So good yesterday. The defensive line, honestly, they controlled that game, that 4th and inches, the stop. I mean, they blew it up. Davis blew it up. He was in the backfield. He could have pretty much got the handoff. I want to talk about Mac Jones as well. And this completion percentage, just the sheer – I mean, he was 22 for 26, 84%.
That's
2 games in a row.
That's unreal.
Right? It's an NFL record. 2 games in a row over 80%. He's 5-0 on the road. The road doesn't bother him. He'd rather they play better on the road. And for a rookie, that's rare. He's making the right plays for the most part. Had one bad read.
Yeah.
You know what, though? All quarterbacks do. He came back from it. The receiving core is starting to really contribute now. Bourne, they're starting to use him in different ways, which has definitely improved his importance to the team. And then those tight ends. I mean, Jonnu Smith got a couple catches yesterday. Hunter Henry just seems like his guy. Aguilar got the touchdown.
It's everybody. It's everybody.
Bill Belichick, through the first 6 weeks when they were 2-4, he knew what he had. And I think he was just building it up to this point. Now they've won 5 straight. He didn't change the path. They were going to be a run-first team, play some solid defense, and let this kid learn as he goes.
Yeah.
So we're seeing the genius at work again.
Well, I mean, look, for how many years have we said, going into a season, oh, they don't look very good this year, blah, 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 blah. And we say, just believe in Belichick. You just believe him because he's going to make sure that the team is going to win.
And I hate throwing this because I'm very superstitious, but the last time they've been 5-0 on the road, well, actually, every time they've been 5-0 on the road under Bill Belichick, they've gone to the Super Bowl.
Could you imagine? Imagine
with a rookie quarterback, if he can do this, this is the best coaching job he's ever done in New England.
Look, I mean, you hear all those professionals out there on all the talk shows for sports and stuff, and they talk about the next Tom Brady, and it's not so much being the next Tom Brady, and I've got to tell you, he is convinced himself, as in Mac Jones, that he can handle that pressure of being the next guy. It's like skipped over Cam Newton totally, and it went right to him.
Yeah, and again, I don't think – oh, go ahead.
No, the fact that 31 teams allowed Bill Belichick to get a quarterback.
Listen, this is all I said. We said it last week. This draft class is really starting. Barmore looks great.
Oh, my God. And
Ramondre Stevenson looks like he's going to be a player for us.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mac Jones and what he's able to do.
Yep.
And then these free agents that Judon has been more than I expected. So you can't even look down the line and say, look, who did he pick up that? Look, we didn't like Jalen Mills much. He's playing better. There's so many different pieces that the tight ends, everything he's done, it seemed like this year has worked. Even from the standpoint of that offensive line, and we were questioning how good they could be because they looked like they were struggling. They're coming together. Trent Brown came back. He's on a mission. Like, to me, listen, these next 2 weeks are crucial. They play Tennessee, and then they play Buffalo.
Eric, they play for first place next week.
Yes. Well, no, 2 weeks. Tennessee's next week.
Yes. Tennessee is right now one game ahead.
Oh, you're talking for the AFC.
Yeah, for the AFC.
Okay. Look at that. Is that crazy?
If they beat Tennessee, they'll be tied, but they obviously beat Tennessee, so they get the head-to-head. That's it. It's insane.
It's insane. What an unbelievable season this has been so far. And I'm going to say, regardless of what happens going forward, the building blocks are there for the next few years to honestly compete for a championship. So great job to Bill Belichick. His general manager skills, I think, honestly, this has been his best year ever with that. And we've got a player. 25-0, 5 straight. What a great way to go into a Thursday night game on the road. Most road teams don't do well, so he had him prepared and ready to go.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. So we're going to go on, and we've got a very special guest. He's joined us before, and that would be the general manager, Paul Rogers of the ABA Providence Pirates. So, Paul, how you doing?
I'm phenomenal. How are you guys?
Good to see you again. We got a little logo up there for you.
Nice.
We always support the Pirates.
We got to send you the animated one for the next time.
All right, sounds good. All right, definitely, without a doubt. So it's been a while since we've talked to you. Lots changed, obviously. You guys are now in full season.
Yep.
But I noticed, so you've had a very busy off season with a lot of partnerships that the teams embarked on. Can you just kind of discuss a little bit of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year, obviously, was an exhibition season. COVID happened. We weren't able to get off the ground. We had maybe like 30 fans max in the gym. It was all family and friends. No revenue, no anything. We still had close to 10,000 social media interactions a week, even in that, with no fans, just getting started. And once we started doing what we do and signing the players that we had targeted in the offseason, now we're interacting with over 30,000 people a week on social media, and that number keeps growing. I'm saying that was the lead up to the first game, 30,000.
Wow.
And now we're just growing. So
Excellent.
We've been working really hard. Obviously, Sir Jean's had this vision he's been on for a couple of years, and we've all bought in, obviously. I was always going to buy in. Like, we've been friends for over 20 years, but we've been now in the community talking about the things we could do. And we have some people that are interested. So we've been involved with a number of organizations. The latest ones being Bristol Marina. They came on partly because one of our players actually works for them. So it's, again, like
it helps.
Well, again, they believed in what our vision is. They're a local company. We're local. So the fact that we can have local organizations behind us is massive. I know we have a drywall company also behind us. It's been great, and we still have a lot in the queue. That's the beauty thing about it, is there's a lot of local organizations interested in getting connected with us. So if they are, please reach out to us on social media through our website, piratesaba.com. We'd love to talk to you. But yeah, it's been a blessing. We've had a lot of small companies be interested because we're trying to stay local. We've signed local players. I think the furthest guy lives in Boston, and he's a guy I've known for a lot of years, and we targeted him, Mikey Rodriguez, Division I point guard. We're so glad we were able to sign him a couple of weeks ago. He's going to bring a lot to our team from a leadership perspective, and just he plays the right way. I think the good thing about our team this year is we have a lot of high character guys. Guys that we were able to look at for a long period of time and have conversations with that have bought into the same vision that we're on. So it's been great. It's been a great first few months.
Good. So
is that Mikey Rodriguez, the player that played for the Boston team?
Boston Amateur Basketball Club?
Yeah.
Leo is a very good friend of mine, and actually the guy that coached.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Oh, you do? How do you remember him?
Because he played in the game we called.
Oh, he had 50 against us.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he did have 50 against us last year in an exhibition game. But I've known Mike before that, and obviously I'm connected to what's going on in Boston in the basketball scene, and actually some guys that I've known for a long time, starting with like Chris Herron when he played for Leo at BABC on up. These guys I've known for over 20 years, and so it was interesting when I was going to talk to Mike. There was some guys that he was connected to that I've been connected to longer than probably Mike's been alive, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you should talk to Mike and talk about this type of stuff." And it's a great situation. Mikey's a pro, like there's no doubt. You saw it, and he's going to have his opportunities to play internationally really shortly. Hopefully, we can get it to the end of the season, but. The first time out of the gate, 16 points, 10 rebounds, fit in. Tom Garrick had 32, and Shane DeRosa had 30. We got a lot of good pieces this year. It's a lot different. This year's team, a lot of complexion to this team. It's very different. We targeted certain guys, and fortunately enough, we had most of them buy into what we wanted to do. So it's been great. Yeah.
So you're obviously off to a great start. When you were building this team, was there particular players you were kind of looking for and styles, or how did you figure that out and mesh that?
Well, like you were talking about Belichick, I'm sure he went at the end of the season, and obviously part of it was like guys that couldn't play because of COVID or decided not to with him. What are our weaknesses? What do we need to get better at? Part of it was the great thing about going through that mini season with respect to like just putting certain operations in place and protocols and procedures. We looked at like what style of play do we want to play. ABA is a scoring league, not a defensive league so much. We do play pretty good defense, but it's a scoring league. So what type of style do we want to play? And then once we determine that, what kind of players fit in? And literally the conversations we had in April were Tom Garrick would be awesome if we could get him. Tom Garrick Jr., we love him. He's a local guy. Obviously, Dad played at URI, played pro. Shane DeRosa has played pro over 7 years. He's a Pawtucket guy, another local guy. Kevin Briggs, 7-footer. We tried to get him last year. He was playing with a different team last year. And Mike was on my list, and there was a couple more on my list that I'm still talking to. But it was interesting that the way we wanted to play and the vision we had when we brought those guys in and had those conversations, they're like, yeah, we love that. Like, we want to be a part of that. And then obviously, what happens. It's a domino effect. Mm-hmm. Like Belichick, you win a couple of championships, everybody wants to come play for you, right? Yeah. You sign these type of guys that everybody knows around this local basketball scene that are really good players, and they're believing in our mission. These guys want to come on board. And so, through Shane, we got Michael Mendes. He plays for the Cape Verdean national team as Shane does, 6'8". He's like, I want to come play. Like, can I come play for you guys? Like, you're 6'8" and you play for the Cape Verdean national team. Yes, we would love to have you.
Yeah.
It's an easy decision, right?
Yeah, it was a yes.
That's great. So you guys are 3-0 on the season. You're ranked 6th overall in power ranking. So great job there. What has been the main factors for your team's early success?
Honestly, like in any team, like having guys that are high character guys that want to be about the team, and having guys that are in the leadership roles, the better players, buy into that. That's what it is. And obviously that and coaching. Coach Gaffney's been around a long time. I went to college with him. He knows the game inside and out. Has been at the college level over 20 years, and we know what he's doing, and he knows how to do it. But really, more importantly, like when your best players like actually coach on the floor, those are the best teams. Tom Izzo says it all the time. Player coach teams are much better than coach teams. Yeah. So when you got the best players setting the tone every day in practice, like Jordan wanting to be the first in every sprint, want to win every drill. that's how these guys are. So they raise the expectation, the level in practice. And that's been translating over to the games.
Great. So your team last game you played, you won by 67 versus Bennington. How do you ensure the team stays focused, doesn't kind of overlook, become complacent? That's a lot of teams don't win by 67. So it tends that they think it's easy. How do you guys keep them focused?
So it's interesting because I didn't even realize, but after the game, Serjan pointed out, like, last year we scored 142 in a game. So we actually could have broke our record, but I don't even think any of us knew that, maybe besides Serjan. And I think we probably could have scored a lot more points if Coach Gaffney, sportsmanship, took kind of his foot off the gas pedal, and it was good. But honestly, the team we're playing on December 11th from Atlantic City scored over 250 points that same weekend.
Oh,
yeah. So, this is a scoring league. These guys are trying to play internationally, so they're focused. I think that the best practices we've had were this week. Every practice seems to get better because the more times they're in the gym, the more together they are, the more they sync, the more they feel how each other plays, and I don't think we're going to have a problem with focusing because our mission is to, obviously win every game, one game at a time. The old coaching adage, but that's true. Like, you can only control this moment; you can't control anything else. But our goal has always been to give ourselves an opportunity to be in the top 8 in our region, make it to nationals, and if we do that, let's see what we can do once we get to the regional tournament, hopefully the national tournament. We're trying to win it. That's why you play.
That's it, right?
Why you play the game,
right? You play to win the games.
Yeah, play to win the game.
So this upcoming week, this weekend, you play the Elmira Eagles. Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about your opponent and what's the expectation going into that game?
We're expecting to be a very competitive game. I don't look like the game last weekend. Elmira is a very established team. Their owner is actually the assistant director of our region. We know him really well. He does a really good job with his team. And we expect it to be ultra competitive. They're usually one of the best teams in our region. So to me, Bennington, great team, great organization, great owner, newer team, so you never know what the expectation is. But for these guys, this is an established team. So this will be a good measuring stick for us. Our first 3 games have been against newer teams. Worcester, this is their first year. We played them twice. Bennington, this is, I think, their first year. We played them. We now, these games will be measuring sticks. This game we play this weekend, and then on the 11th against Atlantic City, the team has scored 250 points. We're playing them at home on the 11th. That'll be another challenge, but we're expecting a really competitive game. They do a really good job. So, again, anything can happen. It's sports, right? Anybody can have a good night, a bad night. So we're gonna be as competitive as we can, and hopefully we can get out with a win.
Awesome. So if fans are interested in joining the game or getting more information about the Pirates, how can they do that?
They can follow us on Instagram, Pirates ABA. They could come to our website, piratesaba.com. They can reach out to myself or Serjan. All of our information is on our website and on our Instagram page. Feel free to direct message us if you want more information. You can buy tickets right on our website. You can buy them in person. We take Cash App, we take cash, we do all that. But yeah, we're expecting a good game. We're expecting actually we're gonna have a special guest. You called me a special guest. We have a special guest on Saturday. The mayor of Providence is going to be at our game.
Oh wow! Okay, great.
To commend us. Yeah, we've already been in with the governor.
Excellent.
And now the Providence Pirates. We're gonna have the mayor of Providence at our game on Saturday, so it should be a great turnout.
And it's in a different location this weekend, correct?
Yeah, we normally play at the West Warwick Civic Center, but they had an event already previously scheduled. So we're playing at the John Holt Settlement House, right in the heart of Providence. So we're looking forward to it. A lot of our guys grew up in that community center, so it'll be great to be right in the city, in the heart of the city, with city fans.
That's excellent. So once again, if you're joining us, we're with the GM, Paul Rogers of the ABA's Providence Pirates. Paul, I'm going to leave you on this last question. It's a tough one. I always like to give you a tricky one.
So I don't know like a start, sub, or sit type of
no,
thing?
No, not this one. Not this one.
I just want to make sure.
This is have you seen the movie Semi-Pro? Came out in 2008 with Will Ferrell.
Absolutely.
All right, Jackie Moon and the Tropics.
Let's get
Tropics. So he was kind of owner, coach. He did everything. So my question to you is, if you had to suit up and play for the Pirates, What position would you play, and how do you think you'd fare in the league?
It would be difficult now with the amount of injuries I've had throughout my career. I could definitely see myself playing the three, more of like a point forward type of thing.
Okay.
I was a guy that, like, everybody wanted to put me in the post at 6'5" in high school, but I was more of a facilitator than I was a post player. So that would be the position. But honestly, the interesting thing about what you said is that's kind of the norm in a lot of the organizations in the ABA. A lot of them want to do multiple things. They want to be the owner and the GM. They want to be the owner and the coach. And one of the things that Serjan was very, very, it was a very big thing with him is he's a phenomenal coach. If you've ever looked at his record, he was a phenomenal coach in college. He's won multiple Coach of the Year awards, myself included. I've done that, but like he wanted a separation. You know what I mean? He wanted me just to run the basketball side. He wanted himself just to work on the business side. And I think that's why we're so successful because and again, this is a very short sample size, but and we got a really good coach. So we're not trying to do too many things. No. We're trying to focus on our job. And I think that's the reason why we're putting the product out. And that's why we're having fans come out. And that's why we got really good players that want to play for us. Because first of all, we're totally transparent. Like this conversation I'll have with anybody, and they know where we stand. And I think that's the reason why we're doing what we're doing is because we're very honest and we know not staying in our lane, but we know that we're trying to do our job as best as we can. That gives everybody else in the organization the opportunity to do the best they can, including the players on the floor. But we have a phenomenal group of interns. We have so many things that are different from a lot of what other people are doing. I feel like, we're setting the tone for how we do it as an organization. And again, we just want to be down with Providence. It's all about this place. We don't want a player from New York. We're not looking for guys out of state. We're just looking to establish our local footprint and work with local talent to give them the opportunity that they don't get anywhere else. Rhode Island's a very under-recruited state for colleges, and I feel like it's the same thing with the pros. So if we can give a kid from a local area an opportunity to play pro, that's what we're looking to do. And we're trying to build that with community support, including sponsorships.
There's definitely plenty of talent around the area.
Absolutely.
I mean, these kids, when they get through high school and they go to college, a lot of them, aren't going to make the NBA. So, but there's still talented players that are just a little more raw than, the NBA talent level.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, to be honest with you, I think that a lot of the guys we have never got the opportunity to go to the right college for them to be successful, right? And so they can maybe they don't make the NBA, but you can make a really good living internationally and see the whole world. For a guy in his 20s, what's better than that, before he's maybe potentially, family, house, really good job. This isn't a shot. You wanted a shot. Everybody always says they just want an opportunity, right? Well, this is their opportunity if they want to take it. And it comes with things that you have to work on to be a pro. But guess what? If you really want to be a pro, you're going to work on those things. So
absolutely.
And all those, all the teams locally, none of them have local players, right? How many players do Brown have that come from Rhode Island? How many do PC have? David Duke's now playing with Brooklyn or playing with Long Island, I guess, right? And how many do URI have? How many does Bryant have? How many did the Paw Sox have? How many did the Bruins have? None, right? So this is all local guys. You're not supporting us because you want to support the only professional basketball team in Rhode Island. You're supporting us because this is you. I live in Attleboro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Serge lives in Pawtucket. We're here all the time.
Those players on the floor are your neighbor.
Yeah,
seriously. Our starting lineup last game, I think Seekonk, Rhode Island guy, Seekonk, Pawtucket, Providence. This is local as you get. Well, Seekonk is really Rhode Island, really. I mean, it's on the border. I can probably, on a good day, probably hit a golf ball and get it to Pawtucket from where I live. So, it is. We're just all about local. We want to build our brand, on a community level and give back. We're working with the YMCA's. We're working with Johnston Recreation, and we're working with some other local organizations. We're starting to get some things off the ground with them. Actually, if anybody's going to come to the game, please bring a can of food. We're doing a food drive for Thanksgiving, and we're going to give it to a food pantry. So again, this is all about community support, and that's all we're trying to do. And then give guys an opportunity to play pro.
I think even in the short time that we've dealt with the Pirates, we've seen the organization and what you do for the community and how well the organization's run.
Absolutely.
So we think you're doing a great job. We wish you luck this weekend. All right, let's try to another 60+ win. I don't want to give you bulletin board material, so we
don't have a line you could bet on right now. So like we're not going for 60, we're just going for the W.
Cover for the dubs. Yeah, you need the W's. Yeah. But Paul, thank you for joining Sports Unfolded. We appreciate it. We wish the Pirates the best, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future.
I appreciate it. I just want to say go Blue Raiders on Thanksgiving Day. Okay, that's a shout out to Ron. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're both Somerset grads, and then happy Thanksgiving to everybody, all of you guys personally. Hope you guys have a safe and happy holiday.
You do the same. Thank
you
so much.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Right, take care, guys.
I'll see you soon.
All right.
That was Paul Rogers, GM from the ABA's Providence Pirates, who's joined us in the past. So great interview. That's a great organization. Check out the Pirates if you're in a local area. They really do some good stuff on the court. So it's really, really good organization. Well run. Ron, NFL time, my friend.
NFL time.
And we're gonna talk a little bit about Mr. Antonio Brown because he's back in the news. I know that's surprising.
Come on.
But
why would he be in the news?
Yeah, I know. It's all football related, I'm sure, always.
Oh, yeah.
So wide receiver Antonio Brown has been accused of falsifying his COVID-19 card with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The NFL is currently investigating the claims. Should the Bucs be worried about this latest story?
They should be. Because, first of all, we all know where there's smoke, there's fire. And the story was broken by the local news in that area?
Yeah, the newspaper down in Tampa, yes.
So it's coming from a source that you can probably bet that there's something on it.
His former chef. So this is where it gets a little dicey.
Yeah.
And no pun intended. But the chef is owed $10,000 that Antonio Brown hasn't paid him. That's when he decided to come out with the story. Supposedly his Antonio Brown's girlfriend offered him $500 to find some fake COVID-19 cards for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. He was unable to do it, but then a couple weeks later, he said they showed it to him. So again, it's the validity of the chef. Do you believe him? Do you want?
Right.
Is he just upset about the money?
Is he cooking up a story?
Is he cooking up a story? That's really good. See, we did 2 of them there. That was pretty good. You know what I mean? You know, it could be a half-baked story if we really wanted to.
It could be. It could be.
So we're not going to do this the entire show. But if you look at the fact that, look, to your point, right, where there's smoke, there's fire. He's been involved in some stuff. And look, he hasn't played the last 3 weeks. He's missed a week with COVID-19 when he tested positive. If they decide to suspend him just based on some of his past, situations, the Buccaneers right now are struggling, and they need players on the field. And we talked about the one thing that could really hurt them was injuries. But now you're starting to look at some of these things as well. If this starts to become a story, and now he's suspended, that can hurt him as well because they're going to need him on the field. Especially Tom Brady, who it's one of his favorite targets.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're looking at, say, Antonio Brown, if he did in fact purchase a fake, COVID vaccination card, then you got to wonder if are there any others, not just even on the team, across the league. And again, it's a federal offense, so it is. Again, they could go after him. It is. The federal government could go after him and say, "Look, we're gonna, prosecute him based on that." So who knows? It's just the player that got involved. It's kind of funny, So we'll see how that story turns out. Kind of not surprising. No, not at all. But let's talk about some actual games that are going to be played this week. Week 11. Are there any games of interest that the fans should be watching for and that you're going to watch for? I got 5 of them on my list. All right. I got 4. One is basically because it's the Bills and it has direct influence with the Patriots. Yep. and the fact that the Colts are 5-5,
Not playing bad. Yeah.
They're in this. So if the Colts can pull out a win, hey, that's great. I don't think that's going to happen. I do, in fact, expect Buffalo to win the game and win it pretty easily.
Yeah, I listen, because they were at home, I think that's a factor.
Yeah.
But the Colts haven't played bad football, so this is a game they could possibly win.
Unless it snows.
Yeah, I found it a game of interest. I also had Bengals at the Raiders.
Oh, see,
Because-
that's the one that should be last.
See, but to me, these two teams could go in one direction or the other right now. And the Bengals, I think, need it more than the Raiders because I don't think anybody expected the Bengals to be in it. But if they lose this, I think they're out of it. They're done.
Yeah.
I don't even consider them.
I think whoever loses this game is out of it. And
I expect the Raiders to lose, though. I think with all the situation, everything that they got going on with that team and the suspensions and the people getting cut.
Absolutely.
They're in a much dire situation where you expect them to lose because of what's going on. The Bengals need to win this game. What's the other game?
And I expect them to.
What's your other game?
I have Washington and Panthers because
Cam
Newton's going to start.
He gets the start.
And,
you know how well we know how much you love Cam.
Yeah. Wonderful.
And I said the Pat shouldn't have cut him. So how good am I looking on that? Cowboys at Chiefs. That should be a fun one.
Yeah, you keep doing all the important games first.
I only had 4 games. I didn't see a lot of good games this week. What else you got? Cowboys Chiefs though. What do you think?
That's a huge game. It's a huge game. I think Kansas City's going to win.
I think Kansas City needs it.
Well, they're in first place, so I mean.
Listen though, they need to turn the corner. They've not looked like the Kansas City Chiefs.
They need it more than the Cowboys. The Cowboys are in a crappy division, so they don't need any of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter for them, really. They could lose the next 2, and it's not going to matter.
Yeah, what are they, 3 games up right now?
Yeah, at least. But
Dak
the
is
Chiefs,
back. Yes, Kenny.
look, the Chiefs obviously need it more because of the division, but I think that's it. They're in first place for the remainder of the year for that division.
Yeah, the Cowboys.
And it's not really a surprise to me. The surprise was they started out so poorly, and they're trying to piece things together. I don't buy what everybody's saying that they needed to find an identity. They just needed to correct all the problems all the things that were successful last year aren't successful because the other teams are planning for it.
Yeah,
if you're throwing deep all the time, those teams are going to be prepared for it.
The thing is with the Cowboys now, they can beat you in so many different ways, and the defense is actually a lot better. Diggs is leading the league in interceptions. They've got some players, Parson that they drafted, so you could see the Cowboys really starting to become one of those teams that, look, if they stay healthy, Dak's the key. You see the difference with Dak at quarterback. They are a much better team with Dak. What's one of your other games? Of course.
And the other game I had was the Steelers and Chargers because
that's what I had. Yep.
All right, Steelers are 5-3-1. They're tied against Detroit without Ben. And the Chargers are 5-4. Look, if the Chargers lose, that's it. Good night. Because they ain't going to catch the Chiefs if they lose this game and the Chiefs win.
I think the only problem, though, is Ben Roethlisberger going to play? That's still a question. It's still up in the air. And I think the Chargers, to your point, need to win this game.
And they've got a rash of injuries, I believe, on the defense side of the ball, if I'm not mistaken. It's right up the gut.
It's an interesting game because there's so many different dynamics to it. What else do you got? Any other games?
No, that's it.
That's it. So those are some of the games that we think you should watch. If you enjoy what you're watching, check us out every Friday night. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, so many different ways. We're on every Friday night at 6 p.m. Follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, sports_unfolded on Instagram. Listen to us on our podcast if you can't watch. Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify. So many different ways to watch. Subscribe. Check us out, man. We're doing a lot of different things. We got a lot going on. Let's move on to our triple play.
Woohoo!
Triple play. So we're going to decide. I have to throw some hockey in here for you because we've been a little lacking in the NHL action lately. And we're going to decide these top 3 NHL goaltenders right now in the season to start, bench, and cut. And that's Jack Campbell of Toronto, Jacob Markstrom of Calgary, and Frederik Andersen of Carolina. And I think I'm first this week. So I will go first. And I kind of looked at it in 2 different ways. I looked at what they've done so far this season, but I've also looked at what they are at for their career. So I started Jack Campbell. He's 10-3-1 currently. Lofloxy, thanks for joining.
LaFlux.
10-3-1, 3 shutouts, a 1.63 goals against, 94% save percentage. But he career-wise, 2.34. So out of the 3 of these guys, best career goals against is Jack Campbell. At number 2, I went with Jacob Markstrom. Even though his record's not as good, 6-3-4, he's got 5 shutouts. And you think about the team he's on, they're good, but they're not top quality. So I was impressed. 1.68 goals against, 94 again save percentage, 2.74 though in his career. Oh, sorry to hear that. Hope everything's okay. And then I cut Frederik Andersen. He's 10-2 with 1 shutout, 1.70 goals against, 94 again save percentage, but 2.6 career. And again, just not a lot of shutouts. I like the shutouts from Jacob. That's why I put him at number 2 as my bench guy.
That's pretty good. I would start Markstrom.
Okay.
I just like from the eyeball test, and he doesn't have as good as a team as the other 2. The eyeball test to me tells me he's a better goaltender. He's more capable of coming up with big games, as you said, with all those shutouts. And that's going to transpire into potential playoffs and championships, possibly. I can see him winning one. I went with Jack Campbell on my bench. He's a pretty solid goaltender. He has games where he does let down and gives up some bad goals, but he's certainly the better option over Andersen. And if you know anything about Andersen,
Frederik.
And
did that?
Look, he has choked so many times in the playoffs. He's horrible in the playoffs, and the only reason why his numbers are so good is because Carolina is that good.
Yeah. So LaFlox, I hope everything goes okay with your
Yes.
baby there. That's I'm glad it's just a virus and not something more serious.
Absolutely.
Let's move on to Major League Baseball, my friend. And the Major League Baseballs gave out their awards this week. Most notably, Cy Young, Manager of the Year, and MVP. So the MVP in the AL was Shohei Ohtani, a unanimous decision. I can't really argue that one. Can you?
The thing that I hate is when you're getting players for MVP and they're not on playoff teams. I don't like that unless the numbers are just so much better than everybody else.
Well, I mean, again, 46 home runs, over 100 RBIs. Plus, you talk about the pitching stats.
Well, that's just it. That's what puts him over. Because if you look at just the hitting numbers, then I'd probably go with Vladimir Guerrero.
Yeah.
But the fact of the pitching numbers to go along with it,
right,
just
put it over the top.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier in the year, that it was pretty much, going to be, Ohtani unless something drastically changed. National League, Bryce Hopper.
Hate Hate it, hate it, hate it. I'm
Thanks
looking
for
at
joining.
the numbers. They're saying, "Oh, his OPS is like this, is that?" You know what? What did Philadelphia do?
So the funny
Nothing.
thing, none of these guys actually made the playoffs.
No, but what I'm saying is, Bryce Hopper's numbers aren't way over the top. They're not way over the top. Now, what should have happened is Paul Goldschmidt should have won the MVP, bringing St. Louis to the playoffs with 31 home runs, 99 RBIs, and batting .294, and won a Gold Glove. That is what an MVP looks like when you carry your team into the playoffs.
Yeah,
Bryce Hopper didn't deserve it.
I was a little surprised with all these picks. So Cy Young, American League, Robbie Ray of the Blue Jays. Again, another didn't make the playoffs. Had a good year, solid. But there was some questions. I think, honestly, if you started to see the decline with the Yankees, Cole, I think that they were the two that were probably gonna.
Yeah, see, like the Yankees made the playoffs. I would have rather seen. Sorry, Boston.
I know.
I would have rather seen them go with Cole because that makes more sense. You know, again, those numbers aren't so far apart that that's not what should have happened. You know, and it should have gone to Cole. And that's coming from a Red Sox fan.
Yeah. What about the National League? Corbin Burns of the Brewers.
I don't have a problem with that one. I think, you know, it was a close race.
Scherzer could have probably got in there, though.
Yeah. I think what hurt Scherzer is
the trade.
Maybe being in Washington.
The Nationals, yep.
You know, that might have hurt, you know, his chances. And especially considering how many he's won. You know, I think Corbin Burns is the right choice there. Like, and look, you're in Milwaukee. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, and I think they got the managers right. So Kevin Cash in the American League for the Rays and Gabe Kapler in the National League for the Giants. Listen, both of those teams are not expected to do what they did. So
100%.
I know the Rays possibly, but still, you expect them not to do what they're doing, and they continue to do it. So I thought they got the managers right out of all of this. Ohtani, I think, was a lock, but then the two managers, I thought they've got it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about a player that's actually coming to join Mr. Ohtani, and that would be Noah Syndergaard, who signed a 1-year, $21 million deal with the Anaheim Angels. Does this make the Angels a contender in the AL West?
Yes. I want to say yes because I thought they were going to contend this year.
Well, they get Trout back, hopefully healthy.
Yep.
You got Ohtani, who's your ace, and now you got Syndergaard as your number 2. The key is, can he bounce back from the injury? He only pitched in 2 games when he returned from the Tommy John surgery.
What this tells me, Eric, is that the team is going to make an effort to give Mike Trout a team this year. This is an effort.
They're wasting it.
Right. And when is Trout a free agent?
Soon. I don't even know.
I thought it was this year, but maybe it's next year.
Yeah, it might be next year. I don't think it's this year.
But, you know, you have to win now. And you have to give them a pitching staff. You know, I think with Ohtani and Trout, you know, as your main focus in the lineup is great. And you need to make sure you can get on base before them, so that way you can get some runs in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want it's pointless if you're going to hit a solo home run every time.
Yeah. Hello, Granddad. Thank you for joining again. And I looked at his record: 47-31 overall, 3.32 ERA, 777 strikeouts though. So again, there's some talent there. If they get enough of what they need, I mean, listen, this helps. And to your point, I think they're wasting Trout. This gives them an opportunity, to start to build around him and hopefully get him a team that can at least get to the playoffs. We
have a feeling Trout said something.
Yeah, we need to see Mike Trout in the playoffs. It has to happen.
We do.
All right, let's talk about an NHL story that I think you probably find interesting. So the ownership team
yeah.
of the Boston Red Sox, the Fenway Sports Group, they're in talks to buy the Pittsburgh Penguins. Do you think this deal is a big deal, or do you think it could ruin the chemistry in the Boston sports area? So if you think about how these teams feed off each other with the Patriots, the Red Sox, the Celtics, the Bruins, and now you've got the Red Sox owner actually owning a team outside of, obviously, this area.
Yeah.
Could it affect that relationship?
Oh, I mean, it could. I don't think it will. I think
Do you support
Boston fans already hate the owners.
But you know what I mean? But like, so how would you, so Henry, right, owns the Red Sox. How do the Bruins fans feel about him owning the Penguins?
Well, I don't think they're going to like it.
Right? So it's just a weird dynamic.
I don't like it.
But when
if
New
they want to
England
own an NHL team, I would just assume them just go out west somewhere and buy one of those teams.
But think about when the Patriots won that first Super Bowl in 2001. And what it ended up doing, right? It caused the Red Sox, right? So 2004, the Red Sox started to win, right? The Celtics won in 2007. The Bruins won in 2011. Like, it created this whole thing. If we're going to compete with New England, we stick together and we're all going to be great together.
Right.
I just think this dynamic, I'd like to see how this plays out. And it's not a guarantee yet. They haven't officially signed anything to say that they're going to purchase it, but they said it's very, deep into the process. So there's probably a good chance it's going to happen.
Yeah, there's a very good chance it's going to happen. They want to own an NHL team.
Yeah, and he said that.
And you're not going to get it off of Jeremy Jacobs. You're not getting it from him. So you're not going to be able to purchase the Boston Bruins.
Yes, no way.
So, so they want to go somewhere else, and Pittsburgh is available. Like, I mean, I think it's going to happen.
It's gonna happen.
But I don't like it.
Well,
I don't like it.
Once they sign, it might be our face-off. So, speaking of face-off, this week, and this drove me nuts. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Detroit Lions tied last week. Should the NFL change their overtime rule and not have any ties in the game? One of us has to be for them keeping the rule the same. One of us would like the rule changed.
Granddad, who should be for the rule change?
And I believe he's talking about the soccer club because they do own the club out in
they own Liverpool.
Liverpool, right? The football club. Yeah.
I was looking at that league, Eric. Chelsea's in
Premier
first
League,
place.
Right?
Yeah. They've given up 4 goals.
Wow.
4 goals.
I'm not
and they
sure.
played like.
He's not sure. Pick something, Ron. Go ahead. I'll let you pick.
All right. So let me see. What do you want? Because I can go.
I am against it. I do not. I want them to change the rule.
All right. So I'll be keeping the rule.
All right. I even got the way they should change. So this is what's going to happen going forward. If I was the NFL commissioner, there would never be a tie again. I would finally make these kickers start to earn their money. And both kickers would start at the 20 and go 5 yards back each time till one misses it, and then that's the winner by 3. And there is no ties in the NFL because it's absolutely ridiculous when you're trying to figure out playoff positions and the playoff picture now and who's still because of the tie. It shouldn't happen. This isn't soccer. This is American football. One team should win. One team should lose. This is like a participation award. Thanks for playing, guys. You both kind of don't win or lose. It drives me nuts. I hate ties in the NFL. Get rid of it. These kickers make millions of dollars. Have them kick the winning thing. It's like a shootout in hockey.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So you're comparing this to a shootout
in hockey.
Yep. And so you start at the 20, you kick the field goal.
5 yards back.
Yep. The other guy has to kick the same one. If he misses, then, this is after playing a full quarter.
Full quarter. You go to overtime, game's still tied, kickers get on the field, start kicking field goals.
So say you're Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Matthew Stafford or Ben Roethlisberger, you want your game to be in the hands of that field goal kicker in a shootout.
Listen, they're part of the team, and we've got to stop protecting them. And listen to me. Would you think Jared Goff right now and the Detroit Lions wouldn't take that win if that was the opportunity? If the Pittsburgh kicker missed their kick and they made that kick, they'd take that win. They didn't get a win. You're still 0-8, 0-8-1. How's that make you feel any better? Well, at least we didn't lose.
I have to say, that is actually what should be happening.
Right?
It absolutely is. I can't even argue that point because it's such a great idea.
Right.
And I can't believe they haven't thought of that yet.
Right. Like, get these kickers involved. Stop babying it. They get paid to do a job as well. And then it's like, oh, we don't want the kickers to decide a game. But they decide games sometimes anyway.
And then if it goes on and it goes all the way to like 60 yards and they both miss, then you can start all over, but you have one player out there with a net trying to
catch it, block it. JJ Watt, shake my head, Lions. Kenny, the Lions stink. Jared Goff's horrible. At some point, you're going to admit this. So they must get it right in the four quarters, right? Not leave it to the kickers, right? Not in overtime. I don't know, something's got to change. Picking time, man. And this one by far was one of our hardest ones ever.
Oh, this is so difficult. It's still difficult because I don't think I got it right.
This is our 40th episode. So for our 40th episode, we decided to rank these great retired athletes. So that's the key word, retired athletes who played into their 40s. And we picked 6 of them. Brett Favre, Jerry Rice, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Barry Bonds, Pete Rose, and George Foreman, all well into their 40s when they played. So I'm first this week. So at number 6, I went Brett Favre. 186, 112, 71,000 passing yards, 508, right? 11 time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, only 1 championship, only played till he was 41. So kind of just got in. Not really. At number 5, I went Barry Bonds. And I went Barry Bonds. Yes, the home run. 762 home runs, right? Leads the majors if you want to count it or not count it. 7-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 8 Gold Gloves. Never won a championship. Played till he was 42. So, again, kind of just got over. 42, done. At number 4, I went Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This is where it really starts to get hard for me. I went Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, though. 24 points a game, 11 rebounds, 19 All-Stars, 6 championships, 6 MVPs. But again, only played till he was 41. That's why I put him at 4. 3, Jerry Rice. 1,549 receptions, 22,895 yards receiving, 197 touchdowns, 13-time Pro Bowler, 10-time All-Pro, 3-time Super Bowl champ, played till he was 42. Which leaves 2 guys. At number 2, I went George Foreman, grilling it up. At the age of 48 is when he retired from boxing.
Yeah, he sold more grills than anybody else on the planet.
Isn't that amazing? So he even knocked that out. 76-5 all time, 68 KOs, 84% knockout rate, held 12 titles in his career. 48 years old before he retired. Almost 50. At number 1, though, that leaves Pete Rose. 4,256 hits. Granted, didn't hit a lot of home runs. Wasn't a home run hitter, but batted .303. 1-time MVP. 17-time All-Star. 2-time Gold Glove. 3-time World Champion. 45 years old, Pete Rose. You know what? They don't want to put him in the Hall of Fame. I'm giving him the number 1 in the pick and roll because he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as well. Pete Rose, my number 1. Past the age of 40, that's still playing. Great list. My list, phenomenal.
Okay, so my list, I didn't do it their whole career. I did it from 40 plus.
40 on. And I say you could have done that. I was thinking it. I could have went that way too. But what do you got? Go ahead.
So my list is going to be totally different.
I'm sure.
Number 6, I went with George Foreman because over 40, he was 3-1, and those 3 wins were against nobody.
Michael Moore, when he won the championship, he was the oldest heavyweight champion ever, 45.
No.
What?
No,
He was 45 when he won that championship. The oldest ever. Go ahead.
3-1. That was a fraudulent one.
Okay, go ahead.
3-1.
Go ahead.
Number 5, Brett Favre. He played, till 41, correct?
Yeah, so he only played 1 year over.
So 1 year, he
Minnesota.
was awesome in the first year in Minnesota. Then he sucked the following year. Sucked. So it kind of offset and stuck him right there at number 5. Number 4, I have Kareem.
Yeah, we had that one.
Well,
again,
his numbers were he averaged like 9-point-something points and like 10 boards, which is pretty good for 40, but it wasn't him. So I went with Kareem at number 4. Number 3, I went with Barry Bonds because he hit 28 and 26 home runs, in 2 years there. But by default, he goes to last because I still think he's a steroid user. So he doesn't stay in the number 3 spot.
Okay.
Number 2, I went with Pete Rose.
Who's also a cheater. So he went to 5.
Gambled. Yes. Okay. No, I didn't move him down because...
You can't do... Oh, go ahead.
Shush. This is my list.
Okay.
The reason why I didn't move him down because of the fact he was a gambler. And I don't know if that really affected his numbers per se because he still hustled, He still went out there and did his job. And for 3 of those 5 years, he was Pete Rose. And then he kind of got a bench role in the last remaining years. So he still put up some good numbers in the 40s. And he played till 45 or something like that?
Yeah, he played 45.
Right. So number 1, I went with Jerry Rice because he was still Jerry Rice, in the 2 years of his 40s. He got 185 receptions, 2,500 yards, and 12 TDs in those 2 years.
Nice.
That is impressive. That's better than numbers in a lot of receivers today, playing in their prime. So that's the way I went through the list.
No, I see it. I could see it that way.
And now it would be really different if I took that whole career in. Yeah.
That's why I said it was hard for me because I did the whole career. Once again, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, check us out every Friday night at 6 p.m. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. So many different ways to watch. Follow us at social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram, and podcasts on Amazon, Anchor, Google, and Spotify. My man, it's prediction time. We tied last week. 1-1. So neither one of us won last week. So a lot of different.
Wait, what'd you get right?
Oh, not yet.
I know what you got right.
I don't remember now.
Football, I think.
No, I got the hockey one.
Oh, was it the hockey one?
You got the football. I picked the Cleveland Browns. You picked the Pats.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And then I was the Florida and I think Tampa, and I won.
Yeah.
Tampa won.
Yeah.
All right, so big game tonight. Not at all, but the rivalry is back. LA Lakers versus the Boston Celtics tonight in Boston. Going Lakers.
It's not even look. I've watched a few Celtics games this past week. Oh my God, they are horrible.
They're so bad.
They are horrible.
And I put a post up on Facebook, and the Celtic fans, I really don't know what you're looking at, because I was like, if you could trade Tatum or Brown, if for a right deal, would you do it? And people are like going absolutely crazy, like I'm nuts. This team's not good.
Look, Tatum can't hit a clutch shot to save his life.
Not
even a semi-clutch shot.
And Brown can't stay healthy.
No, Brown can't stay healthy. And I don't know how many times. Like, look, I was for the trade for Al Horford.
Big Al's playing well.
But and I don't doubt that. But there's some decisions that I saw, like he had the ball in the lane, and instead of taking that shot, he dished it to Marcus Smart, who had two guys on him. Marcus Smart fumbles the ball, and then he throws up a horrible shot. And it's like, but these are all the decisions that this team is making throughout the whole entire game, and it's absolutely brutal to watch. It's brutal to watch.
Stink. Garbage on the court.
They are. They're terrible.
Garbage.
The coach does nothing.
On the 21st, Denver at Phoenix. Phoenix has won like 10 straight right now.
I'm going with Phoenix Suns.
I'm going Phoenix. So far we're agreeing on these. On November 20th, Minnesota Wild at the Florida Panthers.
Florida Panthers.
I'm going Wild because my hockey guy told me the Wild are starting to make their move. They're going to be in the top 5. Rangers.
They had a good game the other night, too.
On the 24th, Rangers at Islanders. I'm going Rangers. I'm telling you, the Islanders just haven't looked good.
No, they haven't looked good. But I'm going to go the Isles.
All right. Dallas at Kansas City this Sunday.
Well, I already said I was going with the Chiefs earlier, so I can't change my mind now.
I'm going Dallas. All right, so we'll get a couple. Somebody's got to win. Pittsburgh at Los Angeles Chargers.
I'm going to see, I don't know if Ben is playing.
We don't know. It's probably going to be game time when you find out.
Can I have a little clause on this one?
No clause.
No
No
clause?
Santa Claus?
I'm going Steelers.
I'm going Chargers. Because I think even if Ben play, he hasn't practiced, done nothing all week. They're in trouble.
I think he's got this. That might be a good thing for him.
Big college football game. Number 7, Michigan State at number 4, Ohio State.
I'm going to go home team.
Going Ohio State. I'll go Ohio State as well. We have NHL later. Winnipeg versus Vancouver. Granddad.
Winnipeg versus Vancouver? Oh, absolutely Winnipeg. Vancouver's terrible.
Yeah, Winnipeg's looked pretty good so far early in the season.
Winnipeg's a good team.
So, as we normally do, we end our show with our final thoughts, and our final thoughts doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. I am first today, so I will give you my final thought, and it's on the women's tennis player Peng Shuai, who has been missing since she posted allegations of a sexual abuse by a former top official in the Chinese government. Peng has been since deleted the post, but has not been seen or heard from since. We all just hope for her safe, well-being, and hopefully as a country, we are getting behind the Chinese government to actually make sure that she's okay. They're refusing to do that currently. Look, at some point, the allegations, I understand their government and how they function differently than we do in the United States. But she's still a person, and obviously there should be some concern from that government. So we'll have to see what happens. It's a really difficult story to honestly unfold because I think it's been 9 days since anybody's actually heard from her since that post. So
terrible.
It doesn't look good. But unfortunately, she decided to be brave enough to come out and challenge someone in that government. And unfortunately, because of the way the government is run, that is unacceptable. Hopefully she gets better. Ron, your final thought? The worst team to win.
Who was the worst team to win any Super Bowl?
I would say, honestly, the Giants.
Yes.
They should not have beaten that undefeated Patriots
Yes.
team. And it's not because I'm a homer.
God.
They did not deserve it.
No, they shouldn't even have been there.
Did not deserve it.
Damn it. That hurts.
So, to this day, I don't even talk about it anymore.
All right. My final thought goes out to the Crosby toss. I'm still trying to figure out how the NHL didn't suspend him or anything. Like it never happened. Like, when is it okay when you just grab a guy, by, we'll just say his collar of the jersey, will be nice about it and just fling him into the boards. Isn't that intent to injure? Like, that's not a hockey play. That's not a hockey play. And that clearly defines something other than a hockey play. That is intent to injure. He intended on hurting that player. There is no question in my mind. But because he's Sidney Crosby, he gets away with it. Now, do you think maybe, Brad Marchand would get away with that?
No.
Hell no. He would have been tossed out of the game and suspended for 10 games. Easily. And that goes for several players around the league because, they have that reputation. Well, Sidney Crosby is not exactly the cleanest player that's out there. And I think it's disgusting that the NHL didn't do something about it. Anything. Give him a game. Something.
Yeah, it's a little alarming because, again, like you said, it wasn't even you could tell clearly it wasn't a football move. And somehow, you know what I mean? It just didn't seem like the NHL even cares. It never happened.
No. It's Sid the Kid. They for some reason they put him on a pedestal, and he's clearly not, anything special. Like he's a good hockey player, but he's not Wayne Gretzky. He's not Mario Lemieux. He's not even Barkov down in Florida. It's just appalling that they looked the other way, and he could have basically ended the career of that player.
Yeah, absolutely. So Granddad asks, in the entire history of the NFL, I would say number one is the undefeated Patriots, but it's also another one, the Patriots, just because they've been in so many recently. But I just looked at the list, and I would say Philadelphia, that Philadelphia team that beat the Patriots as well. They had a backup quarterback with Foles and just overachieved. Should not have won that Super Bowl either. So the Pats probably have the two worst losses in the Super Bowl, just based on some of the talent that they had versus the teams that they played. So that would be my two picks on that. Thank you for joining. Granddad, you've been great. Kenny, thank you for joining.
LaFlux.
Hopefully your kid gets better. Thank you for joining.
Yes.
Want to thank Paul Rogers for joining us tonight. Providence Pirates, check them out. Pirates.aba.com, Ron. Is that the correct website?
I can put it up for you right now.
So, yeah, piratesaba.com. Check them out because they're doing great things in Providence, in Rhode Island. A lot of sponsorships, a lot of good things there, and they've been great to work with. And the Pats are one of the best franchises of all time. Ron, I'll see you Monday with your hockey picks, so your top 5 for your hockey. So check that out.
Absolutely.
What's unfolded. Kenny, we expect your basketball as well on Monday. Everybody out there, you guys have a great night. Thanks for joining. Ron, have a great night. Fans, peace.
Have a good night, everybody.